All right, welcome back to the Canadian Disc Golf Productions coverage of the Project 15 event. Putt confidently presents Project 15, actually. We're here for the FPO Round 2, Back 9. I am Jess Sparrow.
And I am Kat Johnson, and thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on the social media.
Social media there. the handles on the screen. And Putt confidently presents P15 Open. And open, for those of you who don't know, means it's open to everybody. Or the registration was open to everybody. But this round here, we're talking about the FPOs.
But first, we'll acknowledge that this is an OCC event, so top finishers at this event will get an entry to provincials.
Ooh la la.
And thank you so much to PDGA Canada for helping make this event happen.
PDGA does a lot of stuff for disc golf and have been championing the sport for a long time, and it's nice to see them continuing to support disc golf north of the border.
And let's reintroduce our competitors. We have Rebecca Dawn coming from Westport, Ontario, 877 rated.
And we have Kat Johnson from Toronto, Ontario, 880 rated.
Next, we have Alexandra Poletto, also from Toronto, 879 rated.
Oh, she's coming for you. And we have Poletto McInnes from Burlington, Ontario, 928 rated.
Team Canada member right there. Watch her in the next Team Canada team tournament.
All right, this is hole 10, par 5, 834 feet, another long hole here at Project 15. That's what makes this course legendary, is these long, beautiful wooded holes.
Yes, so this hole we're playing from the long tee pad. It's quite challenging. There's definitely a number of placement shots that you have to land into in order to set yourself up for the next shot. So off the tee, you're going to want to go another dead straight shot. You don't want to land too far left. I want to say the better miss is left. You will get caught up in some trees and you will not be able to get out. So let's see how this group does.
What I didn't do is throw it into the rock, though. I didn't.
So Colleen throwing a bit of a turnover onto the right side. Not too bad over there. The fairway does widen up on the right. The right side is where the short tee pad is. So really not too bad of a spot. She'll still have a nice open look there. Rebecca getting a bit of a flip up, but it also lands close to Colleen as well.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the front nine. You know, the wind here today can do all sorts of crazy things to your disc. Flip them where you don't want to. So, Kat, as you're lining up and thinking about the course conditions, what's going through your head right now?
Well, like I mentioned, I'm just trying to keep it straight. However, I yank it right and I get an awful tree kick into the trees on the right. Early tree kicks, no good. This is a long hole, so every shot really counts here. So, little sad feels there. As Alex throws a little early left, her disc filters into the trees on the left, but still has some distance down there, so hopefully she can still scramble. I'm just pitching out here. I don't really have that big of a gap, so I'm kind of going sideways just in order to give myself an open look. So I'm lining up my third shot. Again, like I mentioned, same approach as the tee shot, just trying to go straight. Tough with this wind. The wind is pushing everything to the right side now. However, another tree kick, playing army golf, and now I'm on the left side. Just trying out all the sides.
Gotta try them all out and see what works best for you. Colleen here lining up for her shot. A little bit of an Andy turnover, trying to get down into the fairway, trying to give herself a tackle at the green. Is still a little caught up on the right hand side, but I think she'll be okay there.
Incredible shot from her spot. Could be pretty challenging on some parts of this course as it's quite rocky, so you don't have great footing for a full run up. So she makes do with her footing there and throws an amazing flex shot around the trees. I'm kind of left with a turnover forehand but didn't quite get as much turn on it as I want to, so I get caught up in a tree, and Alex here is forced to just pitch out with a tomahawk into the fairway, trying to set herself up for an open shot. And even Rebecca, she throws a little low, gets caught up in the rocks, but she's still straight down the fairway, so should have a open shot for her next one. So as you can see, the trees are causing quite a bit of frustration. You know, with these conditions, it's cold, windy. I mean, earlier in the day we had snow. There's just been so many elements here today, so it's a lot of golf and a lot of tough conditions. And, you know, I think a lot of us are just trying to survive the day. But Rebecca just throws an incredible shot, landing herself quite up the next fairway. Nice little flex shot with, I believe that purple disc is her Mako 3. She's sponsored by Innova, so she exclusively bags Innova discs, and that is her Mako 3 doing work. Alex there with the beautiful flip up forehand approach. Gets caught up in the trees on the left side, but not too bad there. It's still quite open on the right, so she should have some wiggle room.
And Kat, here you're trying to line yourself up. You can see the basket in your sights. You're probably going for a little bit of a hyzer shot here.
I'm kind of facing the line of trees straight down the middle of this fairway. So I'm thinking just throw hyzer around them, but unfortunately it gets released a little too straight and I get a kick off into the right side of the fairway again. The struggles continue on this hole. It's a toughie. Another fun fact about this hole, hole 10, it's called Scarab because beetles are cool and sacred Egyptian beetles are even cooler. This hole has a giant white oak guarding the last corner, so be on the lookout for that. Lots of, again, as we mentioned, lots of stunning nature on this course.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Project 15 is up in Peterborough. Outside of Peterborough.
Yeah, just north of Peterborough, near Selwyn, Ontario. The exact location is a mystery. It's not, don't trust the location on UDisc. It is purposefully wrong because of the exclusivity of the course. Only a handful of folks are privy to the location. So if you are one of the lucky few who get to play this course, consider yourself very lucky. It is a beautiful course, and we're so grateful to be able to play it for this tournament here.
Really beautiful, right? This course sits on the north end of the Canadian Shield, or the edge of the Canadian Shield, which is really creates these beautiful landscapes, creates all these rocky fairways and trees lining the fairways as well. So really cool stuff here. If you ever get a chance to play next year, you might want to register for Project 15.
And hats off to Gabe, Miles, Carl, and Nico, the tournament crew, and all their helpers for making this course look as beautiful as ever. I know that there was quite a lot of cleanup that was done in preparation for this event. So much hard work has gone into it, and the course is just looking as stunning as ever. So we really appreciate all the work that you do on this course.
So thank you. All right, we're rolling into hole 11 here. It is a par 3, distance 248 feet. So one of the shorter holes on the course here. Still a lot of trees guarding the fairway and guarding the green. So Kat, how are you going to tackle this hole?
So this hole is kind of like a choose your own adventure. You can see that there are 3 different lines you can take, and you're going to see every single approach taken on this hole. We have the straight up the gut approach that Rebecca is taking here. I mean, that is the shortest distance, but it is the hardest to execute, and Rebecca does it well. And we also have a hyzer look on the right side, backhand hyzer, that Alex is taking here. That is A very tight line, but Alex executes it amazing. I believe Colleen is also taking that approach as well.
Yeah, that would be how I would tackle this hole.
She absolutely parks it. And the other way you could tackle this hole is going for the backhand turnover on the left gap. I'm going with a flippy mana. Died by She Dies Your Disc. Shout out. Unfortunately, I'm releasing it a little late and kick off the middle tree, which seems to be kind of how I'm going to always play this hole. Did the same thing in the first round. End up in the stick pile on the left side of the fairway. Trying to pitch out with the forehand flex shot and managed to get under the basket. So very lucky there. Very happy with that result. Rebecca leaving herself with a birdie putt off her amazing drive. Let's see if she can convert. And so close, just hitting just a touch near the bottom of the band. Almost going in for her birdie. And Colleen cashing in on the only birdie of the card. Well done. Amazing drive, Colleen.
Oh, we got a plastic playback on that putt. Let's see it again.
Beauty. Never a doubt. I'm loving all the plastic playbacks for the putts as well. You know, it's not just about the drives because, you know, as the saying goes, drive for show, putt for dough. The putts, making those putts is the money maker right there. So Colleen cashes in her birdie while the rest of us take our pars and move on to hole 12. And here we have hole 12. It's a par 4, 549 feet. First shot, you're going to want to land somewhere around here to set yourself up for a straight shot across this little bit of a valley. The basket you see here, that is in the short position. However, for the tournament, it gets pushed back a little bit further straight and to the left. So a little further than that. So bit of a long tunnel shot off the tee. You can just throw a stable disc straight and have it hyzer, normally landing yourself in the fairway. So as long as you don't get caught up in one of these early trees, you should be in good position for the next shot. As Colleen just gets a little bit of an unlucky skip to the left side of the fairway, but should still have an open look for her next shot.
She's good. She's 16.
And Rebecca clear in the first kind of gap, first fairway hit. She'll have a great second shot from there.
Alex going a touch wide with her hyzer and almost makes it past that last guardian tree on the right side, but still in a very good spot.
And Kat here, you're lining one up.
Ends up a little low, but straight down the middle and hopefully skip into a favorable spot, which I'm pretty happy with that result.
And you can see here, you know, as Colleen's lining up her shot, look at the air, look at the wind and the pines dancing around. It's going to make this hyzer shot tough. It's going to push a little extra, push right to the cameraman even, and right to the basket.
Amazing shot. I think that was some clever editing because I don't think that was the same disc Colleen threw. I think that was my shot. You can see I'm throwing that green disc, and that's the disc that we just saw landing. So just a little bit of a clarification, but you know, still Colleen, I believe she made it up onto that next plateau there across the valley. So still a great shot, even though we didn't get to see the result, but we'll see where she putts from as Rebecca also goes over the valley and pin high to the basket, maybe just by circle's edge.
Oh, screaming to the sky, so many trees. I felt that from here, Alexandra. We are with you.
Yeah, why are trees? We've all been there. We've all asked ourselves that question.
And that's where Colleen's upshot ended up, and now her putt ends up in the basket for a huge birdie here on hole 12 at Project 15.
That's right. Run it in, Colleen. Well deserved. Amazing putt. And speaking of amazing putts, Rebecca gets a big one as well. Next, we have Alex coming out with a bogey on this hole. And then I will be tapping out my birdie, I believe.
And as we finish up hole 12 here, here's your fun fact for this hole. The hole was called Cherry Hill because of the several cherry trees and mark the right side of the hole. So that was hole 12. We're heading into hole 13 here. It's a par 3 distance, 264 feet.
So this hole is uphill shot through this tunnel of trees. It kind of sets you up for a bit of a flip up or a slight turnover, and you're aiming to skip up onto the hill into the green. We've got an elevated basket on this beautiful dead tree. It's such a scenic hole, one of the iconic holes of P15. With this wind, very challenging shot to keep it, right down the middle, very demanding. Let's see how this group does.
All right, Colleen's got her game face on, lining it up, ripping one out. Short editing, we will find out where her disc landed.
Next up, we have Rebecca. She is well known for these hyzer flip shots. Looks like it's flipping in the right direction, landing her maybe about 40-50 feet of the basket, but still great shot, getting herself pretty far up there.
Kat getting the wind read there with the little grass flip, grass pinch, whatever you want to call it. Wind still howling. You can see the top of the trees. It is still going here on hole 13.
It's still going, and I'm stabling up just for that very fact. Hopefully it'll be the right call, right decision. Sometimes you never know if you got the right disc in your hand. The key is to have confidence and trust your disc selection. As I put a little bit too much anhyzer on it, and I get a unfortunate kick into the trees on the right. Gonna be tough to get out from there. Alex also a bit of a late release with her forehand, gets a kick to the right as well. Looks like she'll have a gap here on the right side. Never seen this approach being taken, but she does so well with that, getting herself out of that trouble in 2 shots. So I'm just trying to hyzer one through that tree gap. Couldn't get all the way out, but I'll be near circle's edge for a bit at a par save.
And Rebecca here lining up her putt. Oh, almost. With this beautiful hanging basket.
This hanging basket's quite dangerous. If you miss, you could be looking at a long comebacker. Speaking of which, I'll show you what a long comebacker looks like.
You gotta show the people. And while we're wrapping up with these putts, Colleen putting it in the basket, showing you how it's done with a birdie here. Hole 13 is called the Sentinel, and that's named for the big maple tree that guards the top of the hill, and also known as the hanging basket hole.
And the hanging basket guards itself from my putt, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to try again.
Oh, and the roll away.
Yeah, this is struggle bus territory for me. I'm trying to limit the damage here.
You still got a smile on your face, though. And it's nice to see.
If you can't smile through it, then, what are you doing? You can only get through it somehow.
We've all had those holes. We've all been there. You can see Alex shaking off the bogue.
Just about, moving on to the next hole. Don't dwell too much on what happened the previous hole. Focus on the next shot at task. And speaking of which, we've got hole 14, which is a par 4 at 469 feet. It's again, like very similar setup to I believe it was hole 5. I might be getting the holes wrong, but you're looking at a straight tee shot that you want to finish onto the left side of the fairway, as far down as possible. You want to get past those junipers and to the left of the trees on the right. That way you can have a nice hyzer approach shot across the valley to the basket.
Bad dodge. Bad dodge.
As Colleen and Rebecca are landing in that general ideal landing area. We got Alex in good spirits and ready to throw her tee shot.
Ready to send it. That's what she's chuckling about.
Send it she does. She gets a huge drive out. That's probably the longest drive I've seen on this hole. So way to bounce back from the last hole, Alex. Doing right like what we were talking about. Just shaking it off, moving on.
And Kat, you coming out with a clean tee shot here. In the fairway. That's all you can want.
That's right. And now we have Rebecca here lining up looks like a turnover with her Mako. Comes out a little straight and left, but she'll be just at the edge of the hill where the basket is. So it is a par 4, so she'll just be able to pitch up to the basket from there. Colleen having to play from the juniper bush, unfortunately gets an unlucky tree kick on the right and still in the fairway. I clip a tree and end up kicking to the left. I'm kind of stuck behind a little grouping of trees there, but getting closer to the basket with every shot, which is good. Forward progression.
Forward motion progress towards the basket. Colleen's lining up her shot. Trying to get in and near around the basket. Little deep. Little long. It's that wind, I think, carrying everything a little bit more, pushing everything a little bit extra. And Kat, here you got quite the shot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pitch out with my fierce, with my flippy putter. Got myself to the circle from there, so I'm in par territory. Alex also getting up to the basket. Same with Rebecca, unfortunately clipping a juniper on the way, but still manages to push through. And Colleen managing to put up a really good bid to the basket from deep.
Oh, Alex giving the basket a little tickle on the way by, says, I'll see you on the next shot. And that wind. So Rebecca, we've talked a lot about the wind and the front nine. If you haven't seen the front nine yet, go watch it now and like and subscribe. But we're here on the back nine on hole 14, and we've talked about the wind. So lining up, which what looks like a little bit of a headwind, right to left putt. It's doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's right. It's just about maintaining composure and just, following through to the basket, being confident and committing to your putt in this wind, just as Rebecca demonstrates here. What a beautiful, committed, strong putt for her par save. As Alex taps in her bogey, I save my par here. And Colleen taps in a bogey as well. As we move on to hole 15, but not before we get a beautiful another look at Rebecca's stellar putt there.
All right, and you said it, hole 15. This is a par 4, 503-foot hole. Looks like a little bit of an uphill.
Yes, that's right. So uphill tee shot. We're throwing kind of along the right side, hoping to land and hyzer into the middle of the fairway. Next shot, you want to throw either a turnover or forehand, flexing around the mouth of the hill, around the little mound. Very tough hole with this wind. Really don't want to hyzer out too much to the left. There is OB pretty far to the left. You can't see it off the tee. With this wind, it looks like we're getting a bit of a left to right, so all of our backhand hyzers are going to be stalling out or being pushed a little straighter. So it's all about just adjusting to the wind here as I'm going for the same idea, just a backhand hyzer riding to the right of the fairway. Unfortunately get caught up in a bit of sumacs, but near the edge.
Near the edge is good. Let's see how Colleen takes it, sending one down there. This looks great, right in the middle.
Yeah, beautiful shot from Colleen. We had some spectators that were perched from above on the scaffolding. You'll be able to see it here on the right hand side of the screen. We had a lively crowd there of spotters and spectators watching us and cheering us on from up there. I think you can see Gabe and Nico, some of the tournament staff, and some awesome volunteers and spotters catching the action as I am trying to make the most out of this tricky lie in the junipers, trying to flex out a fairway driver to the mouth of the hill so that I could have a nice and easy upshot. Colleen here demonstrating that there is a way to approach the basket from the right side, going to the right side of the hill. With this wind, the way that it's blowing, if you release too early on the left, you're going to get pushed into the trees. So I like Colleen's approach. Rebecca lining up her third shot, throwing a nice forehand, wrapping around the corner, landing herself right by the basket. What a great shot. Popular play here with the forehand as Alex goes for a forehand with, I believe it's her zone or some type of overstable disc, and she gets a amazing roll down the hill right up to the basket into the circle.
Now, Kat, you're taking that same approach, the forehand flick shot.
Yep, just trying to throw something, wrapping around the hill and spiking down to the circle as well.
And as Colleen takes her shot here and we start to approach the basket, we got a fun fact for you on hole 15. This hole is called Nubbins Field. And if you didn't know, nubbins are the chunk of logs left behind after loggers take the good stuff from the forest. This hole works through what was once a pile of nubbins. And Colleen with a good putt there, she'll have a good next shot at the basket.
Alex cleans up with her par putt as Rebecca lines up for a par as well and sinks it from about 20-25 feet. Another solid putt from Rebecca, just really showing that she doesn't have any fear, especially in the face of this howling wind.
To be young and fearless at disc golf.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. It's really been a pleasure to watch her play and see her game. So really good stuff from Rebecca and from all the ladies here on the FPO card at Project 15. Oh, and the wind's still howling in the background. We get a little bit of Colleen putting action to take us into hole 16.
So hole 16, it's a par 5 at 625 feet. Off the tee shot, you're throwing downhill. You want to throw something nice and straight. Again, just landing towards these rocks, setting yourself up for a straight either turnover, a turnover or a forehand play approach to the basket, which is guarded by this line of trees. Very touchy. We have a tree that's kind of guarding the middle of the fairway here, and with all this wind, it's a little bit of a nervy shot, but we can get some pretty good distance here as it's downhill, and Rebecca getting an amazing shot off there, landing just to the left of the fairway.
And Kat, you're lining up for your tee shot here. Where are you trying to land?
I'm just trying to land maybe like right around where Rebecca's landing, but unfortunately I throw it a little high and it hyzers out a little earlier than I'd like, and I'm stuck behind a whole bunch of really skinny skinny trees there, so it's going to be tough to get out. Not the ideal shot. Don't do that if you're ever on this hole. Colleen rips one out, but unfortunately it gets a bit of a turn with this wind. Lands on the right side of the fairway. Same with Alex, but there's still a way to get around that corner. Little tricky with the trees, a little pinched off, but let's see how these ladies make do with that. Colleen's so good with that. I believe that yellow disc is her escape, if I'm not mistaken. Throws that really well as she gets around the corner with the beautiful turnover shot. I'm trying to play this next shot a little bit aggressively with a turnover forehand. I clip a tree, but I still end up in a decent spot. Alex getting around the corner with a forehand as well. She'll be right by the juniper bushes, it looks like. Rebecca with the CTP and leaving her with a hyzer shot. She's still in good position for her next shot.
Kat, you're lining up for a little bit of a flick here, trying to get a ways down the fairway.
Again, clipped another tree. There's so many little scraggly branches that you want to avoid, but still my third shot. I can still technically save a par with a good approach to the basket. As Colleen throws that beautiful yellow disc again, gets through all the trees, and now she's close to basket high.
I really appreciate the shape of this fairway. It's really cool with those juniper patches in the middle and the openings in the trees. Really, really picturesque course here on hole 16 on Project 15.
Yeah, these fairways are very stunning. They're very beautiful and fair and nice. So fun to hit these lines and just rise up to the challenge that the course gives you. But you know, this course is no challenge for Rebecca as she just throws a textbook hyzer approach, just parking herself under the basket.
Oof, little over, more juniper.
Little deep of the basket there, but hopefully I can still make good for my putt there. As Colleen makes a bid for it. Really good bid, just a little right side, and Rebecca a little, I'm sorry, that was Alex. little left side there, so close to making that.
Yeah, good putt, Kat, from the juniper. No problem for you. Walking away with your par.
Yeah, I'm loving this FPO layout, all these changes that were made just for the tournament. Really grateful for the fact that those considerations were made for this division. I feel like these courses and these holes are so much more attackable and enjoyable with these modified pars. So really appreciate that. As Rebecca gets a birdie.
All right, heading into hole 17 here at Project 15. This is a par 3, 243 feet hole. One of the shorter ones on the course. Looks like a little bit of straight out hyzer shot, a little bit uphill with a crazy drop off in the back. What is that?
Yeah, this hole is scary. If you are not parked on this hole, running the putt is dangerous. There's quite, like you mentioned, there's quite a bit of a drop off. So, the play here is to throw a hyzer backhand with an overstable disc, hopefully getting that skip up as close to the basket as possible. Setting yourself up for hopefully not too big of a putt. Lots of layups on this hole. You don't want to run the risk of a death putt because it's quite a bit of a drop off there.
And fun fact on hole 17. Oh, hold up on the fun fact. We have a plastic playback. Is that snow? Rain? What's happening there, Kat?
It's both. It can be both, yeah.
It can be both.
The sleet has returned.
All right, back to the fun fact here as Alexandra takes her tee shot and shows us how it's done. Fun fact for hole 17, this hole is called Pit Run, like an ace run. Pit Run is what comes out of a gravel pit. ... Death putt. Like we mentioned earlier, it is a death putt unless you are sitting pretty by the basket.
Yeah, you have some major guts if you're going for a putt from outside the circle on this hole. And Colleen, with the run, proving to us that she's got the guts for it and almost makes good for her birdie.
Ooh, another one has us on the edge of our seat. It's called Pit Run for a reason.
Yeah, it makes for a very exciting hole. As Rebecca just lays up for her par. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it. She doesn't want any, excitement on this hole. She just wants to walk away clean.
All right, we got Kat here lining up for her putt. No problem. Green means good. Green means go.
Green means birdie. And lots of tap out pars here. As we move on to the final hole of the tournament, as we watch this tee throw on repeat, and now we go into hole 18, par 5, 636 feet, right off the tee. You're throwing with a 300 plus foot carry over this. I believe it's like an old quarry pit, and you want to land onto the next platform here, somewhere around here in the fairway, lining yourself up for just a hyzer shot, hugging around the corner, and then hopefully a simple upshot to the basket for a birdie. So again, howling winds on this last hole. Very, very tricky. This is quite a long distance carry, so it's gonna be really interesting hole to finish on. There's quite a battle afoot here now, so we had a hot round just tapping out on the chase card. So we had Karen Martel, I believe she shot a a -4 on her round, rising up, sitting in second place right now. So depending on how things shake out on this card, she could either finish solo second, or there could be some ties. So very important last hole for some of these ladies, as we see some of these tee shots ending up a little short, a little right of the fairway, but it's a par 5, so we could scramble from there. Alex throwing a crush of a drive, making it well past the pit there.
And Colleen sending one out a little bit right.
It looked like it was going to go straight, but then the wind just kept pushing it to the right. My drive almost made it to the top of the hill, and then it got a bit of a roll to the middle, and didn't quite make it over the top of the hill on my next shot, so I ended up hitting the edge of the hill and kicking left into the junipers. Looks like Rebecca just has dealing with a little pitch out here from the right side of the fairway. Same with Colleen, just getting themselves out into the open, leaving themselves with open approach shots.
Right, this is a par 5, so if you have to, you can take those extra shots, get back in the fairway, get your feet back under you, get your disc sorted, and move on from there. Take your next shot thoughtfully. Kat, you did the same thing. Line yourself up in the middle of the fairway. Plan for the next shot.
That's right. Only took me 3 shots to get to the middle of the fairway, but better late than never. As Colleen clips the tree on the right and gets caught up into it, but from there it's just an uphill to the basket. You can see the basket from there. Rebecca also kind of getting caught up on the right side as well. Alex's third shot, I believe. Getting close to pin high. So now we have a big crowd following us. A lot of folks finishing up their rounds from the other holes on the course. This was a shotgun start, so there's people still finishing up and making their way to headquarters. As I early release my shot and end up caught up in the trees on the left. Not the way I wanted to finish this round. Colleen also clipping, I think, a tree on her pitch out. I think we end up fairly close to one another here.
Oof, right off the top.
So close. You know, very, very exciting finishing hole. Anything could happen. There's elevation. There's, you know, distance. There's trees. There's so much that could happen. So, very exciting finish coming down to the wire. Trying to save my par from there, but unfortunately didn't quite make it happen, as Alex is also trying to make a bid for that as well. Let's see if she can make the comebacker. So close. Just a little bit low and to the right.
Cat, a little bit of a straddle putt here. It looks like you got that tree in your way. What tree? Who needs trees? Nails the putt anyway.
Yeah, make good for my bogey. And with this bogey from Alex as well, and Colleen's bogey, that leaves us in a tie for third with Alicia Hums, and tapping out for the victory.
And I think we're going to hear this name a lot, as she won the putting contest and she won FPO. Rebecca Dawn. Congratulations. Super cool about Rebecca is, like 2.5 years ago, she came out to Nico's Drive event and was playing with the juniors and just like skyrocketing. Now I think it might have been a bit prophetic that on her first round she got an ace, like, of her life. True story. On video, it's viral, you can find it on the internet. But yeah, there's many great things to come for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was really windy today, and it was really random, the weather. It was hailing for like 3 minutes and then suddenly the sun came out, but I don't think it really affected my play. I played well in the wind, I think. My drives were good, and inside 25 feet with the putter, it was feeling pretty good. I feel like this course suits my style of game that I play. It just went pretty well. I can throw the long shots on these holes, and yeah, it just went well overall. I want to thank Innova Discs for sponsoring me. They're the best discs in the game, and I want to thank the T3 team. They're an awesome team. I love them. And I want to thank Gabe for running this awesome tournament.
All right, that was the FPO coverage of the Project 15 Open. Our champion, Rebecca Dawn, congratulations with a rockin' score of -8.
I believe that's an 11 shot difference between her and second place. So amazing playing. Great comeback for second place by Karen Martel, while Colleen, Alicia, and myself round out the podium, all tied for third. Yes, what an amazing event. All things considered, the weather turned out better than it was forecasted for. We all had a great time. We all had a chance to demonstrate our skills and abilities on the super beautiful and challenging course. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and tune in for more amazing coverage from Canadian Disc Golf Productions.
Yeah, thanks again. Signing off, I'm Jess Sparrow.
And I'm Kat Johnson.
See you next time.